don't forget that Europe is supporting with the money of European taxpayers, Palestinian authorities. And without association agreement with Europe, it would be difficult for Israeli economy to grow. Just to say thank you to the organizer, to the promoter of this meeting, because maybe I need some more time tomorrow in order to express my opinion. But I'm very grateful for the invitation. I'm an old militant for peace in the Middle East. And I could tell my story, but it's too late.
Too late for what?
No, too late tonight, but we have time tomorrow. And, when Miguel Angel Moratinos remembered the European Council 99, I was there, 99, as a prime minister. And the Clinton parameters, I remember, because Clinton showed me.
You have to remember that.
Parameters.
Because it's coming up with Camp David.
Yes. I came to Arafat under siege in Mukata during the second Intifada. And I told him it was a mistake not to sign the proposal of Clinton. And I told him, you have to live to Abu Mazen. It was a difficult discussion, surrounded by Israeli tanks. I remember, but I don't want it to be too long. I remember also the moment of hope. I remember when Arafat was welcomed as a member of International Socialists after the Oslo Accords. The first meeting was in Rome, and I gave the floor to Shimon Peres to welcome Arafat. And I remember what Shimon said. He said exactly, because it's nice to remember that today. He said, in the negotiation with the Palestinians, we always had a problem. They wanted us to call Arafat race, but we did not recognize him as a president. Now the problem is solved, he said, Shimon. We will call him comrade. Other time, and I remember still the wave of hope and emotion that went through the audience. But, well, we are living maybe in a long and troubled history. Never we have lived so dark time, so dark hour. And we don't have to convince ourselves that two-state solution is the only possible solution. The problem is how to restore meaning and credibility of this necessary project while the conflict is shifting from a national war for the right to a territory and homeland. For that war, there is only a two-state solution, but the conflict is shifting to another war, religious, ethnic war, aimed at destroying the other, denying the humanity of the other. And the big problem is what we can do. We are I'm retired. I have a cultural foundation. I have a magazine. Tomorrow is coming in English. Because the last issue is totally dedicated to the Middle East conflict and can be useful also for our discussion. And well, that's a problem. And coming back to the reality, we have to do something in order to move public opinion, governments, to stop the war, to stop the ethnic cleansing, mass deportation, destruction of Palestinian houses. And I think that there are two preconditions for moving toward a real two-state solution. First, a new leadership. It could seem absolutely a paradox to say in a war where people are struggling to survive, to call for new elections. But in my opinion, the first step will be new elections. Because I believe it's possible for Israel to have a new leadership, different from the group of racist, fascist, who are ruling Israel today. And for the Palestinians, I'm a friend of Abu Mazen, but the current gerontocracy living in Ramallah, delegitimized, worn out, doesn't represent Palestinians, is unable to speak to the world. And I believe that it's possible for Palestinian civil society to produce a new leadership, not fundamentalist and terrorist, nor worn out and sometimes corrupted. The second condition, and I finished, is a strong international initiative. I don't think it's possible to repeat the mantra, it's up to the parties to negotiate. That's impossible. For a tragedy as we are living in the Middle East, an international peace conference is needed, establishing the framework of an agreement and enforcing the agreement with international commitment, incentives, sanctions, troops, and, well, involving international players. It's clear, today it's difficult to imagine because we cannot rely on the United States of America. The United States is shifting from the idea of alliance of democracies to the idea of cooperation between criminal wars. Both. Putin on one side, Netanyahu on the other. It's up to Europe. It's a task of Europe to take the initiative. And don't forget that Europe is supporting with the money of European taxpayers, Palestinian authorities. And without association agreement with Europe, it would be difficult for Israeli economy to grow. Europe can play. Europe is Europe that decided to be payer and not player. But Europe, being payer, could be player. I totally agree with Moratinos. It's up to Europe, because our interest, our security is at stake. Today, there was a terrorist attack in Germany. It's easy to say that the hatred, the idea of the European right, the European anti-Semitic right, is the main support for Israel. That's interesting. Why? Because the perception is that Israel is outpost of Western civilization against Islam. This is a totally new scenario, tragic scenario. And without a just solution of the conflict, we are, as Europeans, we are living growing insecurity. And also, let me say, also our values and principles are at stake. Then, I believe why Europe has to take the initiative. Is our task, is our duty, and is what about I'm going to speak tomorrow. Thank you.